Good morning. So, just got this email. Dear Javier, I like the way it started. I've been watching your videos for a few months now, and I feel a lot more confident with the home buying process in general. Just got off the phone with the lender, and they told me I qualified for an amount that I was honestly surprised at. I was hoping you can say my numbers and tell me if it's a good idea to buy or not. Keep in mind, I want to make sure my budget stays affordable enough to support my similar habit of yours of excessively eating tacos. Please help. Listen, taco budget, always on the top of the priority list. I don't care what you are or where you are, have to have them taco. We're gonna basically break it down with you, and you're gonna be alongside me as I coach this person to see if they can not only qualify for a house, but if they can afford the one in their price range. So let's go over the first starter one. So this is a criteria. For the funds, he has approximately $20,000. Now, he didn't specify this, but I'm hoping this is just your housing fund. The price range that they're looking to buy in is going to be $320,000, which is about the average price range nowadays, so that's pretty sweet. Credit score is 697. I'm assuming that's like their Credit Karma, or actually no, the lender just told them their mid score, right? So that should be pretty accurate. And their debts, according to them, 2 credit card payments of $50 each minimum payment, so it's $100 plus a $310 card payment, so that's approximately $410 around there. So $410 minimum payments a month, not your total debt. I just need your minimum payment. And their income is one person has $3,000, the other person has $2,600, so about $5,600 per month of gross monthly income. Now, if you guys are planning on sending this to me, please try to keep private information out. Also, send me your net income, because your net income will help you give me a better idea of your actual budget too. So, can this person qualify and afford a house? Let's find out together. If you want to send me an email similar to this, you can just send it to me at contact@Javier or just follow along with me and do it yourself. So let's first start with the fund situation. So for starters, I know that they're buying a $320,000 house. So let's talk about funds. Why was there FU there? Don't worry about it. Personally, I would say there's some improvement needing to be done here with the funds, and here's why. Okay, so once again, I hope that the funds are just simply the housing funds and not your entire savings, because then we're having a different conversation. But you're buying a $320,000 house. Now, I know a few things here, okay? Because your credit score is a 697, I know you're probably going to be qualifying for an FHA or low conventional loan. Now, clearly, we're going to talk a little more about that, because there's something I'm already seeing here that's just a little tweak you can do. But I'm assuming you're going to try to go with a conventional 3% down or an FHA 3.5% down. So 3% of 620 is going to be, what is it, 9,000 something? 9,600 schmackaroos, okay? Your closing costs, I looked up your state, you do have pretty high taxes, so I'm assuming you're going to be probably about, $7,500, let's call it $8,000 to kind of aim high. And on top of that, there's also your fees like inspection, like your miscellaneous fees, inspection, appraisals, stuff like that, usually adds up to another $1,000. You're going to be in a pretty solid position to be able to afford this, because you're at $18,600, which with you have $20,000, you are super solid. So the thing that worries me though is you didn't mention if it was your emergency fund or not, so I'm hoping you have an additional like $6,000 or $5,000 separately. If there is no emergency fund, then unfortunately you do not have $20,000. You only have $15,000, because you should put $5,000 away so that you're not touching that's there for emergencies, right? So also, I do think even though you have enough for 3%, you should really try to make the extra effort. So that's 3% down. You should really make the extra effort to go with a 5% down loan. 5%, I think it will get you in a better position with the interest rate, and with interest rates going up higher and higher every day, it's going to be a little tough. So if you bump it up to 5%, you should be about $16,000 for a down payment. So if we add the $8,000, now we're closer to, so an extra $6,000 will get you a much better rate with 5% down. Now, obviously, you should try to make the effort if you have the time. If you don't have the time, then that's fine. It should just be fine, just exactly where it is. So overall, funds should be okay. price should be okay depending on your area. Try to push it to the 5% if you can. Also, make sure to start your emergency fund. So if you don't have an emergency fund, then you are gonna have to reset it a bit. So I'm gonna put that a yellow. And for the price, I did look up your area, and you should be able to find something at 320 just fine. So with the next criteria with the credit, I'm going to put that in the yellow, and here's why. You're at a 697, which is awesome. Congratulations, pat in the back. So you will easily qualify for FHA, which I think a minimum credit score for that is about like, I don't know, 500 or something like that. You can go maybe even lower. Sorry, no, that's not yellow. That should be green. So you qualify for FHA just fine. So you should do it 3.5% down. You do have permanent PMI, but it's a good starter home, you know, and it will make things a little more challenging for you to actually get the house because it's hard to get an FHA offer accepted, but you can do it. The thing is with conventional, I mean, first and foremost, I think you will be able to qualify with conventional. I think you can qualify as low as like the high 600s. I've seen people do it. The problem with this though is that you're not going to get the best rate. You know, the people that go conventional in the high 600s usually, you know, have like higher rate than usual. So what you want to do is you want to go back to talk to the lender that you originally talked to. Hopefully, they like you or you like them. You know, there's mutual likeness happening. And you want to make sure to get some kind of credit action plan to see if you can bump this up to like a 700 plus, right? You're so close. You're so close to get it done. Just do the extra work. So use some of that $20,000, maybe, 1 or 2K worth, and to just bump that credit score up just slightly up higher. You're going to have a much higher success percent rate with conventional than with FHA. And let me actually show you this with the numbers. I like to show numbers instead of just talking out of my booty. Speaking of booty, I have been watching too much Euphoria. I haven't seen too many booties. Too many booties and weenies. Which is funny because I was talking to my wife and she was like, it's funny how, when girls' boobs come out, like no one bats an eye. But when there's a lot of weenies on the screen, she didn't say weenies, I'm saying that. Oh, they're like, oh my God, wow, this is too much. This is unacceptable. I'm just like, I don't mind it, man, but it makes me feel bad how freaking, never mind. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, sold loan type. Okay, so let's see the success rate versus FHA and conventional. And I know that I think the loan rate's like 380 is the max, so we're gonna just focus on what could qualify up to the FHA. So we'll go 380. So in the last 60 days, under $380,000 single family houses, there's only been 3,400 sales. Out of those 3,400 sales, 1,362 were conventional. That's about 40%. How much for FHA? 758. That's about 22%. So you're going to have a much higher success rate trying to go with a conventional loan than an FHA loan. So just make the extra effort to get it done. You're going to thank me later. But if this doesn't apply to you, you're like in low 600s, and probably it's fine if you let it slide. Don't worry about it. But for this specific person, I would really make sure to put that extra effort to doing that. So for conventional, just bump it up slightly. Okay, now let's talk about your debt to income. So your income and debt scenario. So this is where we're going to really figure out your budget and what really makes sense for you. So, all right, so there's a breakdown of how your budget looks like. Your gross income is 5,600. Your debts are 410. So I have been working on a budget sheet for y'all, because I know in this situation, it's kind of hard to do the math and do it on your own. So I'm going to use the budget sheet to kind of show you guys how I'm showing my clients what they can afford, and then I'm going to show you how to do it on paper or on iPad in this case. So is the budget sheet available? I don't know if it's available yet. Check the description. I think I'm having my website remodeled a bit right now. So when the remodel is done, I will have it available. So check in the description. It'll be available at some point later. So it'll say coming soon if it's not ready, and if it is ready, it'll be there. So in the meantime, if you email me, contact Javier Vidana, I'll just send you, and you can like beta test it. So you can do that for now. We got to plug in the gross monthly income. And I would love to have the net here, but in this case, we don't have it. So I'm going to do a quick little formula, and I'm going to figure out what 75% of that 75% of the net income, gross income is. So I'm going to do this, multiply by 0.75, and that's what we get. Okay. So normally what I would love for people to put in their whole budget here so we can get a good idea, because if you actually put your budget in, it'll give you like a lot of good numbers. So like if you put, water 100, electricity 300, internet 50, 100 for phone, your car, here in this case we have a $50, and then they have a car payment of 310, so that's already in. And then memberships like Netflix and all that crap, so we'll do 20, 10 Netflix, Hulu, whatever. Okay, so just putting random numbers, but in this case obviously I would love for you to actually put your stuff. So already this is going to give us exactly what we need to do. So with this number, you can actually qualify up to 2,390, and how we figure that out is we get your gross income, so $5,600. We divide it in half, because for conventional, your max debt to income ratio is about 50%. So 50%, how we find that is divided by 2, or you multiply by 50. So in this case, 5,600 divided by 2 would equal $2,800. So from this number, we actually have to subtract everything that's a minimum monthly payment on a debt. So if you remember, they had $410. So 410 here, that means they qualify up to 2,390. Okay, so there. Now that you see that, that's how that works. So, which is insane. Let me move myself out of the way here. So that's what you would qualify for, which it says here, it's 57% of your monthly take-home income, which is insane. Literally 57% of your net income would go towards that. Isn't that crazy or what? That only leaves you $1,800 to pay for the rest of your bills. And if you had all your bills here, it would automatically give you that math. So now let's talk about affordability. So as you can tell, there's different ranges, right? How I find these ranges is by doing the following. Okay, so we know that you qualified up to 2,390, which is freaking crazy. But to figure out what you can afford, there's two methods. Well, let's break it down with the two popular ones. Okay, the two popular ones and the one I like to use. Okay, so then there's your 25% of your net income. Another one that I like to use is 28% of your gross, and my favorite is about 33% of your net, because I like to think in my head, third of my income has to go towards my mortgage. That's just what I like to do, right? So how do we do that? It's pretty easy. If you have your gross number, all we got to do is multiply that by 0.28, and that's the number we get. So here, I believe 1568 is the number that we get. For our net, once again, they didn't send me the debt, so I'm assuming it's 75%. Their net income was $4,200. Well, in that case, then we either multiply that by 0.25, which is this one, or we multiply it by 0.33. So for each one of those situations, here we get 1050, and here we get, so what the sheet did is it did it for you, right? So this is at the 25. The actual 28% one is here. This is the 33% one. I put this one because some people do 30% of their gross. I don't really like that though, but that's there. And I have some wild cards here, that you can play around with. Like if you have student debts, it's my personal opinion that you should pay the student monthly payment first and then do everything. So that just basically, if you have a student debt here, so let's say you have a $100 student loan payment, that just applies it. So it takes it away first. So it kind of adjusts your budget a bit. If you're trying to pay off certain debts aggressively, it pays that first before the payment. That's why it affects the numbers a bit, but you don't have to adjust that. And here, of course, we can get a better idea of what you qualify for. So in total, let's say this person, if they wanted to go with a 33% net model, they could afford up to $1,386. But still, 33% of their net income, 25% of their gross. Sorry, I just played with the numbers a bit. I added another thing so I can actually show you how much money you can save. So obviously the whole budget is in here, but with the mortgage being applied, 33% of your net income is going to go towards that. So this is acceptable. Now, if you want to play around with it and you're like, well, I want to be in between the really safe numbers and something around there, you can just plug that in here, and then you can start getting an idea of what makes sense for your budget. But for sure, 2290 does not make sense at all, because that is the yeah, you're gonna have a hard, literally, this is all that's left. If you have all your budget there, you're gonna see that this is it. This is all the money you have left over for everything else. So, it doesn't make sense whatsoever. 55% of your net income. So yeah, no. So for sure, I think in our situation with our friend here, they probably want to be in the $1,400 range to be a little more certain. So $1,400, and that's up to your lender to kind of help you figure out. So now you can call back the lender and be like, hey man, I know what I qualify for, but I need to be at a $1,400 monthly payment. So tell me what that qualifies for, and let's see if that can work. And that's how you do it. So in other words, I think you can buy. You're in a good position. You might have to just save a little more with the funds. Credit score might need just a little slightly bump up, but your budget should make sense for $1,400, which maybe might be slightly under $320. That's up to you really figure out. If you want to push it slightly higher, I mean, technically you can go all the way to freaking $2,290, but so yeah, talk to your lender, let them know all the details. And if you're looking for an agent, by the way, agent referral, the link is in the description. We have a team of great people ready to assign you to an agent, and they follow up with you and the agent to make sure that you're taken care of at a high level. We've already helped over 2,000 folks and ready to help you. So go ahead and check out homebuying.com/Javier. Links in the description. Don't forget, we got a bunch of the Replan Home Buying Planner with a Kyle and a bunch of other goodies coming soon. Once again, if you do want a copy of that worksheet, I'm still working on finalizing some things. If it still says coming soon, feel free to email me. I'll send you a copy. Yeah, we'll get the ball rolling. If you're still watching, let me know. What do you think about this? Do you want to see more of this? And tell me, what do you love to mix with your coffee? Because I am a sucker for just oat milk, cinnamon, and a bunch of sugar.